Hello, hello. Ron Callis here with another episode of Automation Unplugged. We're here today for show number 171. Today is Wednesday, May 26th, 2021. And as I always do, I'm going to jump over to Facebook and see if we are streaming and if we're coming in loud and clear. So stand by for me. And I do see that we are streaming, which is pretty cool. So today I have a special show, maybe even a special format, in that we have all been in this lockdown mode with COVID-19, and we have been quarantining to some respect. We have, in many cases, been going to very few events, maybe no events. I know that personally, I went to my last industry event in March of 2020. And, it feels like a million years ago. And I flew home from that event in Vegas, and it was March 11th. And I've not been on an airplane since. So that is the strange world that we live in. And keep in mind, I've been personally, in the custom integration space since 2020. So this is, 20 years of my career. I've known being at many events year round, whether it's trade shows or buying group events or various gatherings. And I know the same is for many of you. And now that we are getting vaccinated as a country, and as a global population, we're starting to slowly and steadily revert into the new normal. And the new normal means we're going to be going back sooner or later to events. And so I know I am vaccinated. I had the trying to remember which one it was. I think it was the Pfizer vaccine, the 2-shot deal. And I'm fully vaccinated. My wife is vaccinated. My son, he's 12, is now vaccinated. And we are starting to go out to restaurants. And we are starting to leave the house a little bit more. And what is around the corner, and we're here in May 26, 2021, what's around the corner are going to be industry events. And specifically in September, we have CEDIA. And so we have I'm looking at the dates here. We have CEDIA Expo 2021 is September 1st through the 3rd. And it's going to be in Indianapolis. And I know there are a lot of pent-up demands and interest in this show. From my friends and peers and customers and all the different folks that make up this industry. And I said, you know what, let's go ahead and have Emerald on. And you guys know Emerald bought the CEDIA Expo event a number of years ago from CEDIA, the trade organization. And so today's guest, it's a super long intro, but today's guest is Jason McGraw. He's a group vice president at Emerald, and he is in charge of the CEDIA show and the kitchen and bath show. It's called KBiz. And I've got a bunch of questions, and I'm here to ask these questions on behalf of you guys, the attendees, and the manufacturers. And we're going to hear from Emerald directly on kind of the state of the CEDIA show, the state of Indianapolis, the state of the convention center and the hotel spaces. And the fact is, One Firefly is going to the show. We've just renewed or signed up, fully paid for our booth. We have the same size booth we've been doing for years. We have a 20 by 20 booth. In the grand scheme of Lutrons and Crestrons and Savants, we're a little guy. But for us, it's a big commitment. It's a big commitment to do a show. And we're doing that to go and see all of our friends and customers and peers. And so without further ado, let me get Jason on and let's jump into it. So stand by. Jason, how are you, sir?
Doing great, Ron. Thanks for the opportunity to join you today.
So is there a show happening?
In fact, there is. It's exciting. We are actually going to be live in person September 1 through 3 in Indianapolis. I get that question a lot. Is there really a show?
Is there really a show happening? That's awesome.
We are having a show. So thrilled to do so.
Let's jump in real quick. What is your area of responsibility? I mean, I read your title, but in the Emerald universe, and for a lot of our listeners, they may not be that familiar with Emerald and kind of who and what Emerald is. And some people listening may not even know that Emerald bought the CEDIA Expo a few years ago. So maybe fill us in on those details.
Yeah. So, back in 2017, Emerald acquired the show from the CEDIA Association. That being said, the show is still called CEDIA Expo. The CEDIA Association is still intimately involved in the planning of the show and having their conference programming at the show, booth, membership activities, and we work very closely with the CEDIA staff and organization to welcome and host the CEDIA members, the CEDIA industry at large, and of course the manufacturers and integrators and design consultants and everyone who comes to the event every year. So Emerald is one of the largest event and publisher organizers in North America. We host over 100 events annually. Just starting to get back to having in-person events. The last year, of course, has been hugely devastating for the live event industry, and still, having recovery efforts underway as events start to come back online in cities across the country, which is hugely positive. And the trade show industry employs millions of people. You don't honestly think about it, but let's just take a second. People who work at the convention center, the laborers, the trade unions, the people who work in the hotels, people who work in catering, in the travel industry, the entertainment industry, the bars and restaurants. I mean, everything that you can think of if you've traveled to a trade show that you touch, see, do, interact with, has implications in the economy. And so that's why trade shows are certainly vital to that, but also they're a catalyst for the marketplace that each event serves. And, when you can connect buyers and sellers together, you can provide education and networking opportunities, the opportunity for brands to show their newest products. It's just an unparalleled chance to get a lot of value in a short period of time. And so we're excited about bringing events back together. This past year we had a pivot everybody did to create virtual events and try to connect online. And we've all been living online like this, connecting in our daily work lives.
The term zoomed out is probably spoken at least once a day by everyone I know. They're zoomed out.
Sure. And so, we're excited about events. A little bit about me. I just joined the organization this past November, but prior to that, and for many, many years, 25 years combined, I managed the InfoComm professional AV show with AVIXA. And I have attended CEDIA Expo many times in the past and worked very closely with the organization on the Integrated Systems Europe show that I helped to launch back in the day. And I have a CTS certification, very much an AV geek myself, love technology, love learning about new products and new solutions. And, back in the day, you might see a little bit of guitar on the wall back there. Used to be in a band back in college. I used to be a sound man. I was involved in theater arts when I was in high school and college. So, and maybe that's why I'm so much of a ham. But I do love technology. I'm very passionate about it. And so for me, this is somewhat of a dream job to be able to organize the industry gathering at CEDIA Expo. So that's why I'm personally very motivated to have the show come back together this September and to see everything firsthand, because it'll be 2 years since we gathered last in Denver in 2019. And as you mentioned, there just haven't been opportunities for the industry to gather or to connect in person, to shake hands, have a beer, learn, We've been doing it all online, and it's been great. But there is not a replacement for in-person events.
So I mean, I can recall back maybe in the height, or back some months, maybe many months at this point, when all of the shows worldwide were getting canceled, there was certainly out there in the ether this idea maybe trade shows are dead. Maybe trade shows, the time for trade shows, maybe their day has come and gone. What's your rebuttal to? Hopefully, you're not offended by that statement, but what's your rebuttal or your response to that?
Not at all, Ron. And I've heard that one for actually a couple decades. All
right, so this is not a COVID thing.
Ever since discussions of online, virtual events or meetings, digital, every time there's an advancement in technology, well, that's going to put face-to-face events out of business. And I kind of chuckle at that because, tell that to CES or NAB or InfoComm or CEDIA, tens of thousands of people, professionals, still gather, even though they have all these digital tools, still come together repeatedly year after year to see and experience things firsthand. Touch a product, feel it, talk to somebody face to face, share a beverage, have a dinner, go to a party. You just cannot do that online and have the same kind of experience. And there's also the serendipity, frankly, of coming to an in-person event, strolling the aisles. Of course, you're going to go see the brands that you plan and schedule to have meetings with and see their latest product. But then you're touring hundreds of exhibits and you're like, wow, that's cool. I never knew about them before. I never saw that product, or I have this need and I'm trying to find a solution. The ROI of going on a trip to one place at one time to see hundreds of brands in person, as from an attendee point of view, and being able to access dozens and dozens of education topics and meet people for business purposes, there just isn't any comparison, on the digital domain that compares. And as you said, I think there's a pent-up demand. People enjoy communing in person. We're human beings. We're analog beings. Until we get a chip and plant it in our heads, and the experience that is.
Give Elon Musk another maybe 10 years, and we'll be there.
But trade shows have been going on for hundreds of years. Think of it, any kind of marketplace, and not just B2B, but consumer shows, boat shows, car shows, craft shows, what have you. People still love to do that in person. Yes, there's been a huge wave over the last year in particular with online shopping. Brick and mortar retail is under pressure, but I predict that a lot of that's going to come back because the experience of seeing products and engaging with others in person is a social experience that we crave as human beings. And I believe that will translate to, hey, we've been online for so long. Let's get back to work. Let's get back in the office. Let's get back on the road. Let's hop on a plane. Let's go to trade shows. Let's go see our customers in person. This will all come back, in my opinion. And it's starting to open up. I think the progress that's been made with vaccinations and herd immunity is definitely moving in the right direction, certainly in North America, in the United States. And, the recent CDC guidelines changing about mask wearing for vaccinated individuals is welcome. It instills more confidence. And I think cities and localities are opening up back to full capacity in many areas in many parts of the country. I think that's just going to keep moving forward and make it easier for people to get back on the road and get back to in-person events. You
were telling me before we went live that you went to Walmart this weekend for the first time without a mask. What was that like?
Yeah, so Ron, I'm coming to you from my home office here in Northern Virginia. I live near Dulles Airport. If you're trying to figure out where I'm coming from.
You live near my parents. My parents live in Winchester.
Okay, that's west of me.
That's west of you, yeah.
And but so western suburbs of Washington, D.C. area. And, I live in the state of Virginia, and, it's been, fairly restrictive for some time. I mean, my kids finally got to go back in person to school in the last couple months, albeit wearing masks and having their desks spread apart. But yeah, I was able to actually go in the Walmart, my neighborhood Walmart this last weekend without a mask. And it did, I'll confess, it felt kind of odd, but liberating at the same time. So, I also am fully vaccinated. And so I'll add that. That's why I was not wearing a mask. But I'm also respectful, and I wear a mask where I need to and where I'm, required to by businesses and locality and by the rules. And I think it is important that we don't minimize or detract from health and safety concerns that individuals and companies and localities have. And we have to be mindful and respectful of that it's not uniform yet across the country. And there's areas and pockets that still have higher numbers of cases, and people have different health concerns or issues. And I think we'll have mask wearing for some time. Honestly, it'd be great. And we're looking at this, not to move forward in our conversation about health and safety at the show, but currently we're following the localities guidelines, and they do have mandatory mask wearing in place at the convention center in Indianapolis. So,
I've got a whole line of health and safety questions I'm going to run you through, but and so we will get there. And for those listening, we'll get there. But I want to speak for a moment about the dealers, the integrators, my customers, the what makes up the volume of the attendees of the show. What are the big draws right now? And so I'm going to ask you, I don't know if you can say this publicly or not, but what are the big name vendors that have said, yes, they're going to be in Indy, they're going to be at CEDIA? Who can you tell us is going to be there?
Well, it's a great list. Yes, it's true. The show floor will be smaller than it was 2 years ago. For very obvious reasons. We certainly have a number of international brands that were not able to join us this year due to travel restrictions, shipping issues, etc. That being said, we have large brands like Crestron, Snap AV Control 4, LG, Samsung, Elan, Savant, Origin Acoustics, Lutron, and the list goes on. Yamaha. I mean, we have a ton of major brands. Harman.
You forgot one.
Oh, One Firefly, major exhibitor.
Major exhibitor.
And a must see, by the way. So if you're going to CEDIA Expo, please see Ron and his team at One Firefly.
Yes.
And that's an unpaid plug, by the way.
I appreciate that. We can end the interview right there. There's really not much more to say than that.
But yeah, so it is exciting that these major brands are fully committed to the show, making their plans for the show, the new products that they're bringing, working on their stand display designs, the training, sponsor, in conjunction events that they're going to host at the show. We've been having tons of conversations every week with these brands, and then, hundreds of others. So we're expecting 250 to 300 brands at the show this year. It's probably a third less, honestly, than in space than we had 2 years ago. But that trend is very similar with other industry events out there. But more than anything, it means that you're still going to see a lot of the great new products from a lot of the great leading brands, well worth the trip. And when was the last time you had that opportunity? Again, it was 2 years ago.
I would just add, Jason, that a lot of what makes our industry special, I would challenge, are the people and the relationships with those people.
Right.
And I mean, in my observation, if there are a third less vendors at the show than the vendors that do show up, I mean, there's just going to be a tremendous opportunity for networking and, frankly, just catching up and probably telling war stories about our last 24 months. And it's just so much more powerful to do that in person than through a video conference. And I'm the biggest advocate out there on video conferencing. I was doing Zooms before they were cool. But you can't argue that that's more effective than the face-to-face time with your friends, with your customers, with your peers. I mean, it really is priceless.
No doubt. So, I mean, there's many different facets and reasons why people attend. Another big one, obviously, is the educational content offering from CEDIA and the other, manufacturer product training, the demo rooms where you can see products and listen to them firsthand.
If you'll allow, Jason, let's go through some of those logistics. And as talk the mechanics of being at the show. As you know it right now, dealers and vendors going to be wearing masks. And might that change? I'm going to take this point by point.
Today, that is our policy. And, we have our health and safety protocols and guidelines on the CEDIAExpo.com website that everyone can look at. We are hopeful that there will be some changes made by the local jurisdiction and the convention center. There's a number of other large events happening in Indianapolis prior to CEDIA Expo, so we'll get to see how things transpire for them as well. But we are looking at that from Emerald's perspective, corporately across all of our event portfolio. What is the recent CDC pronouncement about mask wearing for vaccinated individuals? How will that impact our position with our events, and what updates we may have to make to our policies accordingly? And but I want to stress repeatedly, our number one mission is to have a healthy and safe show experience for everybody attending the show, exhibitors and attendees. That's our greatest concern in putting on the show and getting back together in person safely. And so we want to be respectful and mindful of that, and very deliberate in our plans and policies with regards to health and safety. And, even though it may ultimately come to pass that our policies change, and if you're vaccinated, maybe you may not have to wear a mask, but masks will be encouraged, for everyone's safety and protection. We certainly recognize that there will be individuals coming to the show who may not be vaccinated or have health conditions, and they're probably going to wear a mask, and that's okay and encouraged. And so, but we also recognize that, if you're going to drink a beer or have something to eat, you have to take your mask off. Hello. And then you're going to put your mask back on if that's the case. So we definitely have great plans in place today to ensure a healthy and safe event. We're reviewing those plans, as I said, and, we'll make updates accordingly as we're able to. And, but that's always been our primary focus is let's get back together safely. Let's have a great event. Let's make sure everybody feels comfortable being there and can have a smooth experience. And so that's really what we've been focusing on.
We have a question posed here from our folks watching, and I'll put it on screen. This is Mario. He says, Jason, are you considering to provide an online platform for companies that are not able to attend due to COVID? In fact, Mario, I want to say Mario is in Canada, and there might be a Canadian travel restriction there.
Yes, and we're aware of that today. And we've spoken with a number of brands that have challenges coming to the show this year, for clear reasons from our friends up north and Europe and Asia. We do have digital exhibiting opportunities. We have an online digital directory, linked to our floor plan where exhibitors can put on videos, product information, etc. Half of these education sessions that CEDIA is offering this year will be on demand, and they're selling a registration pass. We'll talk about registration in a minute, where you'll have access to sessions on demand. We're also capturing a lot more content this year at the show via video, and so we'll have our stage sessions on the show floor recorded and available on demand after the show. So our goal is to try and have as much of the show experience be available, to the external industry who may not be able to attend the show. And so we're also looking to introduce a new matchmaking platform portal for the show this year, which is a first. And, that'll be a new exciting way for attendees to connect with each other and with exhibitors. And so stay tuned for more news on that. But it also kind of goes into that whole theme that we're talking about of the digital experience, right? Whether you want to call it hybrid event, virtual event, we don't plan to have the, simultaneous, online everything, live from the show floor this year, but we will have a lot of digital tools available that do extend the show experience for brands at the show, and for attendees who cannot attend, will at least be able to see who's exhibiting there, links to their sites, how to contact the exhibitors, how to connect with others. So, we certainly encourage everyone to register for the show when the show comes up, and we hope everybody can attend in person, but we understand that some may not, and that's fine too. And so we're also with our media brand, CE Pro magazine, which many people may be familiar with. They're going to have a lot of coverage at the show as well, in addition to many of our other media partners in the industry, covering the show, videos from the show, webinars, pre-show, post-show, that type of thing, to really kind of connect the industry together around the in-person event.
Jason, I don't know if this is a question for you or a question to members over at the CEDIA trade organization, but in terms of education, I know that CEDIA education is always a big draw of the event. I know that many of the classes are often sold out, and there are CEDIA education passes, and so there's a diversity of courses and curriculum. And I'm actually, my firm, we're teaching a bunch of courses, I want to say 5 or 6, around different themes tied to marketing. What I don't know, and I of course I could have asked the questions, but why do that when I could ask you live? Do you know if all of those courses are going to be taught to an audience and a virtual audience? Are people going to be logging into those classes or have that option, or is it only folks that are sitting, 6-foot separation in the classroom at the convention center?
So it's a combination, Ron. They will have 100 sessions in total. Approximately half of them are going to either be on demand, pre-recorded and available during the show week and thereafter, or recorded at the show and available immediately after, so that those that cannot attend in person can view those sessions. So there's a pass, conference pass, that will include both the in-person and the on-demand sessions. They're still planning to have the in-person, sit in the room, see the speaker, engage, discussion, Q&A, as has been done for many years. And, we did a tour of the convention center last month together with the CEDIA team and looked through all the meeting rooms and how those are set. I mean, today the rooms will be set for social distancing, and there are some capacity limitations on the rooms, but we've combined rooms so that we can accommodate as many people as possible around the sessions. And then, as I mentioned, we'll review that, and hopefully capacity limits increase, and then we'll be able to fit more people in the rooms and so forth. But they have a very robust program planned this year, tracks for the business owner, for project managers, sales and customer relations, system designers, technicians, and a lot of talk around the CEDIA certification. And of course, we have manufacturer product training sessions as well, from the brands talking specifically about their products and solutions. So very robust program, great slate of speakers. Registration is going to be opening June 9th. So it's not open yet. It's coming.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. So I'm gonna put on the screen. And so it's important to first note that you cannot yet register, but you can pre-register to be notified. And so I'm going to put on the screen, and maybe you could describe to our audience what we're seeing here.
So when you first go to CEDIAExpo.com in your browser, should be a blue box that pops right up that says, hey, if you want to get added to our e-newsletter list where you'll get notifications and so forth, put your name and email in there and get on a list. If you've attended in the past, we likely have your name already, and you will also receive notification. If you subscribe to CE Pro Magazine, you'll also probably receive a notification. But if you want to be doubly sure, you could go to the website, and when that blue box pops up, enter your name and email, and that'll get you on our notification list and for show updates. And, like I said, it's coming here in a couple weeks. We'll issue a press release as well, but launching June 9th. And that's also when housing is open for general attendees. If you are a CEDIA member, you can book a hotel room now and do that online. If you're an exhibitor, you can also book hotel rooms online, and reach out to OnPeak, who's our housing provider. But we're getting ready to get everybody signed up and get it going for the show. But a great program this year. We also have 2 stages on the show floor. I'll mention our Smart Stage and our Innovation Hub stage. And those stages will have sessions on thought leadership, on a variety of industry topics, as well as manufacturer, like kind of case studies, product-specific solution conversations on the Innovation Hub stage. And that's new this year, the Innovation Hub. So, a couple dozen sessions, more than that combined on both stages. And those are kind of like TED Talks. They're like 20, 30 minutes. They run throughout the 3 days of the show. So we'll have a published schedule prior to the show where everybody can look and see, oh, this is a topic on lighting, or this is about resi-commercial, or this is about outdoor living or work from home technologies, business challenges, so forth, state of the industry. We have a variety of topics that we're planning for this year. So we have bite-sized drive-by sessions on the floor. We have the more in-depth conference programming with CEDIA off the show floor manufactured product training and demo rooms. We've also been talking with a lot of the hosted buyers groups out there in the industry, and having in conjunction meetings at the show for their members as well. We know a lot of manufacturers are planning their own in conjunction meetings, sales meetings, and so forth. So between the convention center meeting space and all the adjacent hotels, it's just really simple and easy. When you come to the show, like, hey, I'm going to be on the show floor visiting the exhibits, then I'm going to go take this session, I'm going to have some lunch, I'm going to come back, I'm going to meet my friend, I'm going to go see that product demo. It's all clustered right together. It's very easy, very simple campus to navigate and go between. The downtown area of Indianapolis is fantastic because all the hotels are literally within a few blocks of the convention center. There's tons of places to eat and meet and greet. And so that's what I enjoyed. And it had been a long time since I'd been in Indianapolis. We went on a site visit last month, and it's just fantastic. They are ready for business. It is super clean. The convention center has been hosting events actually since last June. They had March Madness there. I think everybody's familiar with that. Hosted tens of thousands of people through their building. They've had a lot of public events. They've done all these events safely and effectively. And so they're ready for business. And so we think it's all going to be just a great environment to get back to in person. It's been, I think 2012 was the last show, was in Indianapolis, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, CEDIA's headquarters is there in the suburbs of Indianapolis. And it's a great destination to get to. So I think everybody can easily plan to, come to the show, navigate, divide your time, effectively between education, networking, meeting with manufacturers, socializing with your friends. Heck, they even have a ballpark right next door to the convention center, and there are Indians games there. They're I think it's AAA or maybe it's AA, minor league baseball right next door on Wednesday and Thursday night during the show week. So there's plenty to do. Museums, great place to bring your family. Indianapolis. So we're really excited about it. Do I sound excited?
Yeah, you sound excited. I've got the map pulled up for those listening on the podcast. I've got the floor plan pulled up on the screen. And by my estimate, it looks like Crestron wins the award for the biggest booth.
Yes.
Or am I doing the math wrong here?
No, that's correct.
They're coming out. They're coming out swinging.
Absolutely. They were supposed to come back last year, and then unfortunately the show was canceled. And they're fully committed and coming back in a big way this year. They'd taken a hiatus for a number of years from the show. Really back in a big way. Very excited to have their support for the show. And I think it also helps up the game for all the manufacturers coming back. I think it's a big boost. Having Crestron. Like I said, we talked about a number of the major brands that are there, and a great variety of products. I mean, lighting, audio, video, control, security. We've got everything that you need to see to put a system together.
Question for you, Jason, on the flow. So I'm zoomed in here. First of all, I've got the whole map filling the screen. And is everything on one level, or is am I looking at multiple levels here?
This is the street level view. If you're coming in from like the left side of that plan, or the bottom side of the plan from the street. Okay. Most of the adjacent hotels are on the bottom side of this plan if you're looking directly across the street. But registration is right there on the main level, adjacent to the CEDIA Association.
All right, so
education rooms right there.
Registration is on this main hall. It's up here to this upper side. And so is it fair to say most people will enter the entire show from right around this registration area, where Savant, Lutron, Sonance, Legrand, where these, Snap, Control 4? Or is there an additional way to enter down here at the bottom where I see Sony, Harman, Samsung, Crestron?
We have hall entrances all along the lobby into each section of the hall. Today, the entrances are like one way into the hall, one way out. We've kind of the right side's the entrance, the left side's the exit. And we have designated from the exterior of the building, some of the entrances are going to be entrance only, exit only. But once you're inside the convention center lobby, no matter which side of the building you come from the street, once you have your badge at registration, you can enter the building. It may be the first morning you get there, you enter the hall when the hall opens, and you're going in there by the Lutron booth, or maybe you already have your badge and you're coming back to the show and you're entering on the side of the hall where Crestron is, and so once you get in, you'll be able to flow around. The pink wide aisles there are major thoroughfares that kind of connect the two halves of the hall, and then also you can see on the plan there at the bottom we have some of the what are called MPT rooms. Those are manufacturer product training rooms, and then over to the left we have some more manufacturer product training rooms there. Now there is a second level above this, and actually I think on the top of our webpage there you can navigate up to the second level.
We might quickly be going above my pay grade here.
Yeah, well, there's a way to do it, but essentially the second level is meeting rooms. So we have some ballroom space upstairs, additional set, kind of a mirror image of the CEDIA meeting rooms there on the second floor that they're also using for sessions, some manufacturer product training, partner group meeting space, etc. But generally speaking, this is the main thoroughfare, ground level. You enter the building, you can get in the hall. There are concession areas inside the hall, the food court area in the lobby. We're going to add seating areas in there. And like I said earlier, you could cross the street or go one block down and go to the Steak and Shake, or there's a mall down there as well. And 2 blocks from the convention center that has a food court as well. So the restaurants and the hotels. I mean, there's plenty of dining options for lunch breaks or, cocktail after the show, etc. And great places to meet up, before, during, and taking a break during the show.
I did not yet ask you. I meant to ask you just a few minutes ago. In terms of historically at these events, there are sound rooms, like where you go listen to the latest, speaker audio package or surround audio package. Are those going to be at the event this year?
Yes. In fact, we're going to have about 10 sound rooms on the show floor. We also have some meeting rooms off the show floor that we call HPAs, high performance audio rooms. So we have some of those earmarked now. And we still have companies signing up for them. So we definitely will have that. We know a number of exhibitors will also have similar setups in their exhibit booths, an enclosed area to demo product as well. And, that's a very traditional feature of the show, a highlight, and a reason a lot of folks come. Like, I want to hear these things, and see how they work. So that certainly is a component that'll still be featured at the show this year, and something for folks to look forward to.
Awesome. I want to give Michael a shout out. He says he can't wait to go. So thank you, Michael, for that comment. And Sean says the same. He says, looking forward to it for sure. What is, I know you've done some surveys publicly. I think you've done them through CE Pro. Maybe you've done them beyond that. What is the consensus around attendance at the show?
So that's also a big question. So the first question was, are you doing a show? Second question from exhibitors, how many people are going to be there, Jason? I don't have a crystal ball that will tell me exactly how many folks will be, but yes, we have done some surveys. So I have two data points I can share. We did a attendee sentiment survey last month in April to past attendees, and 70%, and we had, I think, 1,200 respondents, but 70% said that they were definitely or likely to attend the show, which was fantastic. We have a little poll on the CEDIAExpo.com website that a number of people have answered in the last month or so, and a very similar response ratio there. Separately, there's a trade show group called Freeman, one of the large general service contractors in the trade show industry across many, many different sectors, one of the largest companies. They have a research group. They just recently fielded a study that said 84%, if I think I have the number right, 86% definitely plan to travel this fall. 74% said their companies are easing their travel restrictions or will not have travel restrictions. So that also reinforces and bodes well about the desire and intention that folks have to come back to in-person events. So this is very encouraging. We will do another attendee sentiment survey in June. Just to, we'll open up registration, then we'll do another survey and just say, hey, now that things keep improving, out there with the pandemic, and things are changing. Does that change people's attitudes and ability to travel and so forth? We're also hoping, and we're hearing, from some of the international countries that, hopefully some of their travel bans start to ease, and they're being reviewed this summertime. So, hopefully in July, we'll see a lot more access for travel open up, and hopefully our international guests will join us. So we're very optimistic about attendance this year. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to say this. And I just alluded
Is this breaking news?
I'm just going to say this. What other opportunity have you had to go see hundreds of brands in person in the last 12 months?
Yeah.
Zero. So let's say we have 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 people. There is no other trade event in this channel anywhere in the United States that's happened where you'll see thousands of people. So I'm speaking directly to exhibitors that haven't signed up for the show yet, and exhibitors who are in the show. This is a great opportunity. And for those of you that want to meet your colleagues and buddies that you haven't seen in 2 years, this is the perfect opportunity to get back.
This is where the party's at. The party's in Indy.
Exactly. So in some respects, and not to minimize, the value of, marketeers put in headcount and so forth, trying to calculate ROI, but it's about the quality, from an exhibitor perspective. It's about having the industry come back together, and people who make the trip are going to be glad to be there, glad to see the exhibits, and glad to take the education. And that's why I think it's so important. We get so fixated in the past on numbers, thousands of, what's the attendance? I think that's changed now. The view of what's valued. We've all learned to do this digital experience over the last year, but getting back together face to face, having quality conversations, talking with people who are seriously interested to know what's coming out next. That's number one reason, by the way, that in every survey in any industry, why do people come to a trade show? They want to see new products. And it's also one of the top reasons that an exhibitor comes to the show. They want to show their new products. So I'll just say that regardless of whatever the final attendance number is, and we hope it's as great as possible, it'll be a great show. And to your point, it means it's a great opportunity for those that do show up to connect with the brands that are there. And, I don't want to use the word it's going to be more intimate or whatever. It's a great show. It's going to be a big show floor and a lot of walking around still do, and a lot to see. So that's what everyone should be excited about and look forward to.
Well, I agree entirely, Jason. Jason, for those that are tuned in and they want to get in touch with you directly or learn more about the show, maybe they have more questions. What are the directions you want to give those watching or listening?
Well, there's a lot of information at CEDIAExpo.com, and you can certainly contact us through the web form there as well. And there's links there, a list of my information, or my colleagues' information on there. If you're interested in exhibiting, or you're interested in attending, or you have questions, there's a lot of FAQs on the website now about health and safety, about travel, about the hotels, about the conference program. So please take the time to visit the website. It gets updated regularly. But if you'd like to email, it's jason.mcgraw, McGraw, at emeraldx.com is my email address, and feel free to reach out to me. I don't do a ton of tweeting, but my handle is Mr. Show Guy on Twitter. And, appreciate the follows, and please connect with us on LinkedIn, on Facebook. Follow the hashtag CEDIA Expo 2021. The CEDIA HQ hashtag that the association uses. Will also post a lot of information about their programs and what's going on at the show. And of course, pay attention to the CE Pro website and magazine. So there'll be a lot more information coming. Stay tuned for registration opening, and more than anything, I'll look forward to standing there right in the lobby and greeting you as you come into the hall. So it'll be my pleasure.
I'm going to put on the screen here. We have the CEDIA Godfather here in attendance, Ken Erdman, and he says he'll be there. So Ken, thanks for tuning in and chiming in. And Jason, it was a pleasure to have you on the show, sir. And I look forward to seeing you in Indy in September. Thanks
a lot, Ron. I appreciate it. And thanks, everybody. We'll see you there.
All right. Be well. All right, guys, there you have it. I was going to add, I agree with Jason's sentiment in that, I know that there will be less people at the show than in 19. I don't think there's any way to think that that's not going to happen. But, think of our role, One Firefly, at a show like that. There's going to be X thousands, let's call it, I'm guessing 5 to 10,000, integrators, people in the space, other than the manufacturers. But, we just need to meet a couple of hundred that come through our space, and that, we'll meet maybe then a few more hundred in all the classes and courses that my staff and I are offering. And ultimately, we'll be able to see our current customers and our friends, and we're going to meet some new people, and then we'll leverage that over the course of the next year or so. And so it's really quality over quantity. So for me as a vendor to hear that, we want, the biggest show ever, like, that means nothing to me, because there's only certain decision makers for my brand that ultimately have the conversation about marketing and strategic direction of their company, and are ready to engage in a conversation with my team and I. And so, we're excited. CEDIA has always been the biggest lead generator for my business in all of my years. I've been doing this for 14 years. And before that, I did every CEDIA with Crestron. And then before that, I did every CEDIA with Lutron. So it is always a big deal. And I'm excited to see all of you that are planning to attend the show. Definitely make sure to find One Firefly and come and say hello. And my team and I, we're going to be in and out of courses. There's a lot of courses that we're teaching on websites, on hiring and HR, on social media management, on SEO, on SEM. And you guys, if you know me and you know One Firefly, we like to teach. And so we're going to be giving you guys all the goods and teaching you all of the fundamentals and some deeper dives into marketing strategy. And of course, giving that away for free. And definitely would love to see you guys at the show, either in the classes or stopping by our booth. On that note, I'm going to give you my normal plug, which is if you have not subscribed to this audio podcast, please do so. Just go to your app, look for Automation Unplugged, and you can find us. And then, of course, we're always dropping nuggets of gold and fun content out on our Instagram page. And would love to get a follow on Instagram. You can follow us at One Firefly LLC. And on that note, I'm going to sign off. I will see you all next week. And hopefully I will see you. Jason and I will hopefully see you in Indy. Thanks, everyone.